NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. The show took place in Cardiff, Wales at the Motorport Arena, Cardiff. And wow, this show was excellent. This was a phenomenal show. One of the best takeovers you'll see. I'd certainly say this was much better than the UK takeover in January. Much better, blows that show away. You had a fantastic show, multiple great matches. You had everything was either good to very good to great. And that is how you have a fantastic show. Long show, you had 6 matches on the show. But everything really delivered. I can't say there was anything that was really bad. So we start off with Noam against Travis Banks. I would pick Travis Banks to win. I did horrible on my predictions. Man, I fucked up everything. But I really thought Travis Banks was going to win because Noam is just a guy from 205 Live. Never really was a fan of him. Travis Banks, I thought they'd push more. Here in this match, it was good. I was not a big fan of either guy. I didn't really pay much attention to it. Just wanted it to be over. I felt like the match probably just should have been on an NXT UK TV show. I don't think this needed to be on the TakeOver. I think the show would have been better. I think they do too much matches, and they always do that. While on the American side is they never overbloat the card. They don't have 6 matches. They always have 5 matches. 3 title matches, actually 4 title matches, and 1 extra match. Here, by having 6 matches is a bit too much. I think 2 of these probably could have just been on the TV show. At least one at least. But they had to have this match here. I don't think it needed to be on the show. Noam Dar gets to win. Good match and a good way to start the show. A good opener. It's the match you get the crowd into it. You don't tear the host down too much in the first match. You just need to get the crowd into it, and that's what they did. So next they go to a segment with Cesaro, and he wants an open challenge. And then you have Ilja Dragunov, it's hard to pronounce his first name, comes out to the ring, cuts a promo, and Cesaro comes out. And all I can think of watching this match was Cesaro against Sami Zayn from the first NXT Arrival show, the first official NXT event. It was before they were calling it TakeOver. They called it Arrival. It was their first big show. They had a fantastic match. All I can think about was how similar it was. Ilja was Sammy. Sammy gave Cesaro everything he could. Eventually, he couldn't take anymore. He was put down with a neutralizer, and that was a similar match here. This was old Cesaro. This is what makes Cesaro happy. I'm sure Cesaro would probably rather just be in the NXT UK tearing the house down. Could you imagine Cesaro against Walter, Cesaro against Tyler Bate, Cesaro against Pete Dunne, how crazy some of those matches would be? Even Joe Coffey, man, that would be fantastic. Cesaro's awesome. But here, Ilja has a good performance. He basically turns face in the match. He's kind of the baby face. He gives Cesaro everything he has. Eventually, he gets put down, and Cesaro looks like he's going to beat him up after a match, but does the handshake. It was kind of similar to the Undertaker, Jeff Hardy, where like Undertaker's going to beat him up again, but he raised him up and shook his hand. That's what you had here. Next, triple threat tag team match for the NXT UK Championship. Probably the second best match of the show. You have James Drake and Mark Coffey. James Drake and Zack Gibson. Read those names wrong. The champions defending against Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. And then you had the baby faces, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. That is how you get a team over. They were over like motherfuckers here. They are stars, man. They were going nuts for them. They were great. This match was fantastic. It wasn't for the main event. This is the match of the night. I fucking love this. This was great. I hate the spot, but I love it. It's basically a doomsday device, the Road Warriors finisher. On the outside, the one guy has another guy up on his shoulders. And instead of jumping from the top rope, the guy does a suicide dive. And that's how they do their version of the Doomsday device. And it looks so fucking sick. They did it at the last UK TakeOver. I love it and I hate it because it's so fucking dangerous. But man, that was great. It was a great scene. Multiple kickouts. He had so many false finishes. It was insane. It was like a main event. I thought it was just going to wear the crowd out. You had one part where Zack Gibson and James Drake, it looks for sure they're going to win. There was about 4 or 5 false finishes. It looks like it's over 100%. The other guys keep kicking out. Mark Andrews kicks out. Flash Morgan Webster kicks out. I thought Mark Coffey and Wolfgang didn't need to be here. It probably would have just been better as a singles match. I don't think this needed to be triple threat tag team titles. I think it would have just worked better as a tag team singles match, but it was still a fantastic matchup. I love the fall finishes with the shooting star press. They pull the ref out. It looks like it's a heel finish. Eventually, they get the win anyway. He Mark Andrews hits a shooting star press, and then Morgan, I believe, gets the pinfall on Drake or Gibson, and that's how they won the championships. It was insane. Crowd is losing their shit. It was awesome. The crowd loved it. This was an excellent match, and those are stars. Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster, your new NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Love that match. Next, we go to the gimmick match, which was the last man standing match, Joe Coffey against Dave Mastiff. And this is it's a big man match. This is the ultimate big man match. It's how you book big man matches, WWE, when you do it on the main roster. You don't have to do two big guys doing rest holds for 10 minutes. You have two guys just go out there and destroy each other and smash stuff. It's like Godzilla against King Kong. Smash, smash, smash. Smash the table, smash the ring step, smash the barricade. That's what a big man match is. We don't need to see two guys doing rest holds in the middle of the ring for 10 minutes, like a WWE big man match, and they need to go 15 minutes to have a shit match. It's craziness. It's two giant behemoths beating the shit out of each other. That's what big man matches are. I love these kinds of big man matches. So you have a lot of big spots. You have some barricade spots, which look like they're painful, some step spots, and you had a lot of table spots. A lot of sunset flips, or not cannonballs rather. The Kevin Owens move, a lot of them threw tables on the outside. They'd set up a table in the corner on the barricade, and one of them did, I think each of them did cannonballs, which looked really cool. Cannonballs always a move that will get over with a big guy. He has had some cool chair spots. A cool spot was when they both go outside into the crowd, and they both have chairs, and they just run at each other and smash each other with chairs, and they both fall down. That's the kind of stuff I love. I don't mind. I know it's cheesy. I know it's over the top. I know it's kind of corny. It's like an old action movie, but I love that stuff. I'm a mark for that cheesy stuff sometimes. I thought it was great. He had a lot of false finishes here. It looked like Dave Mastiff was going to win. I picked Mastiff to win because I thought he won a big hardcore match at the last TakeOver show they did. And I thought he was going to beat Joe Coffey because they already had Joe Coffey lose to Pete Dunne for the title at the last show, so I don't know if he's going to get another shot. The way this ended, it looks like he might be next in line for Walter. I don't know. It's still a long way to go. I'd like to see Walter and Cesaro, but they could go with Joe Coffey again. It's a fine choice. Walter eventually, I think, has to go up to the main roster, or at least to the American NXT. But here, they had a lot of big spots. They do a crazy spot. They're on the announce table. They go to the end of the crowd, up to the announcer's table, and Mastiff puts up Coffey, and he does like a rolling move where he has him on his shoulders, and then he flips over and slams him into the announce table. And it's kind of sucked because I thought for sure I'd smash the table into pieces. It doesn't. I don't know how that table must have been made of steel, which probably made it hurt a million times to have those two big guys not break it. And then eventually they get to the top, and behind the announce booth is like a platform, and they're at the top of a really high platform. Both guys fall off the platform through two tables, the big holy shit moment of the night. Eventually they both are up. They're both somehow make it to their feet. They're not getting counted out. And they're both holding these crates, or what you call it. Like, they're both holding them. And eventually Coffey just kicks off the crate from Mastiff, and Mastiff collapses it right at 9, and Coffey gets the win. It was a heel win. Some people might not like it. When we have so many crazy spots, you want to end it with a big bang, kind of kicking how, it's the kick ending it, but I thought it worked well. I thought it was a cool ending. Coffey gets the win, and we'll see what goes from here, but I love that. I thought that was a great last man standing match. Next, my girl loses the NXT UK Women's Championship. Toni Storm defends against Kaylee Ray. They want to get Kaylee Ray over. She's going to be the top female star in NXT UK. Beats Toni Storm, and it's kind of strange because Toni Storm is such a babyface and she's such a big star. She can be a major player. For her to just lose after what Kaylee Ray said about her, Kaylee Ray talked about Toni Storm's dad leaving her, how Toni Storm doesn't talk to her family. I don't know if that's true. Really evil heel, just ripping into Toni Storm, hurting her really bad. They even had the match start with Toni Storm crying, which was a nice emotional moment. She did so much to Toni Storm. You would think, is Toni going to get her revenge on Kaylee? Kaylee pins Toni Storm cleanly here. And the way the match was going, I figured Kaylee would win. I picked Toni to win, but it wouldn't surprise me because Toni Storm is eventually going to leave the UK roster. They had Toni Storm start off with a suicide dive, and she's kicking Kaylee's ass early on. And I was thinking to myself, all right, Kaylee's probably going to win. Eventually, Kaylee gets she takes control of the match for a while. She beats down Toni. It's like, I don't know. It was good. The match was good. And I like Kaylee's finisher. It's kind of like a widow's peak, if you will. Look similar. So she had Toni up there in the position about 3 times. She hits it the first time. Toni kicks out. Toni makes a comeback. She's battling Kaylee. They get to the outside. Toni does a suicide dive earlier, but this time Kaylee does her own dive. She gets to the top rope and does kind of like a flip from the top onto Toni Storm. Looked really great. I thought it looked cool. I thought the move was interesting. She did miss a bit, but it was a cool move. I mean, it looked cool the way she tried to hit it off. It did fall up a bit short. Eventually, she gets her back in. She hits another one of her finishers into the top rope, and that hurts Toni. She hits it a third time, and that's it. She pins Toni Storm cleanly. Toni's defeated. She's crying when she puts her back to the barricade. Kaylee celebrates. She's your champion. Kaylee Ray, new NXT UK Women's Champion, and for Toni Storm, it makes sense because the more you think about it, she probably is going to be on the NXT main roster soon. And I think when she goes to NXT in the United States, she's the one who's probably being groomed to beat Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's title. Because maybe that's why they had Shayna so dominant. They're having her beat everyone. They had her go through the entire NXT Women's division. Maybe it's all being set up for Toni Storm. Maybe we get to see Toni Storm, Io Shirai a rematch. Maybe at WrestleMania weekend. That'd be great. But that's it. Toni Storm, a great run in NXT UK. I really think she has all the talent in the world. She can be a big star, but I think now it makes sense. You know what? I'd like to see her just come to the main roster soon. Why does she still have to be in NXT? She's better than about almost everyone on the main roster. Or besides about 10 women that might be better than her. I'm not even sure I can even count that much. Maybe about 4 or 5. I can definitely say are still better than her. She's great. Kaylee, we'll see what she can do as champ, but also for Toni Storm, because she's a star, it makes perfect sense to come to the main roster because NXT's on USA. 2 hours of NXT. I'm not looking forward to that. I think it's going to hurt the brand, but it does get exposure, and Toni Storm's a star. USA would definitely love her, and I think it makes perfect sense for her to debut on September 18th. So Toni Storm to NXT next. NXT US. Next, main event. Walter against Tyler Bate. So this was a great match. This was a battle. It's hard to recap everything that happened. You had Walter dominate, but they made Tyler Bate into a star. And he's already a star. We know the classic matches he had with Pete Dunne a couple years ago. And he had a great tag team with Mustache Mountain with Trent Severn. They were a great team. And here he loses to Walter, but he puts up a war. This was a fantastic match. I thought for sure I cannot imagine Walter losing to Tyler Bate. Even though Tyler Bate's fantastic, I can't imagine him beating Walter so early because the thing with Walter is with when you have... You just had him beat Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne is a bigger star than Tyler Bate. He's beaten Tyler Bate. You can't have... it makes no sense for him to just beat Pete Dunne at WrestleMania week and he gets the big win. He's only going to get a 4-month reign again and lose to Tyler Bate, who's already been NXT UK or WWE UK champion. It's a WWE UK title. I said NXT UK, WUK. Tyler Bate was the first champion. Went to Pete Dunne. He had the belt for 2 years or something. Loses to Walter. Walter's champ. He's the third champ. I don't think it makes much sense to have it go back to Tyler Bate. But the match I had here is fantastic. It was probably a 5-star match. I can't recall the whole match. So much happened. There was one spot which was funny in which Tyler Bate's so much smaller than Pete Dunne. He falls down on top. Walter falls down on Tyler Bate, and Tyler Bate can't move. I thought that was funny. His back was back to back, so it wasn't a pin. I thought that was funny there. Some really good spots. There was a great sunset flip. It looked like Tyler Bate was going to win. Walter hit his finisher. Tyler Bate kicked out, which was fucking crazy. Eventually, Walter is frustrated. He hits a massive clothesline and pins Tyler Bate. I love the ending. One thing that reminded me of, the match flashed me before me was Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior. I think Savage kicks out, and then Warrior just hits him with a bunch of clotheslines and finishes him. That did remind me of that. I like that finish here. I thought that was a really great finish. You don't always have to win with your finisher. Maybe hit your finisher, take so much out of him to kick out, then you just smash him at the end with clotheslines or something. That was a cool ending. The show ends. You have Pete Dunne and you have Trent Severin come in the ring. They embrace Tyler Bate. They hug him. He gets a standing ovation. It was the curtain call. It was perfect. It was a great ending. I think Tyler Bate's done. I think along with Toni Storm, he's going to NXT US. It makes sense. Pete Dunne's there. I think that's it for Tyler Bate in the